Good morning and welcome. You're watching Good Morning Sri Lanka. It's another Monday morning and it's the 18th of June. And we want to thank you for joining the show. Good morning, Mevan.
Good morning, Prashant. It's a lovely morning and hope this week turns out well.
I hope it does. And we've got a lot to talk about sports. And I think for the first time in the history of me hosting the show, I'm actually doing the show with another guy, and we can really talk some sports today because we do have quite a bit of things to talk about.
Yes, definitely. Loads of action happening over the weekend, so we're going to take a look at that as well.
Yeah, for many of our viewers who may want some inside look into, well, one thing that's happening today, the Sri Lanka versus Pakistan, the deciding one-day international. We'll be talking a little bit about that in a little while with Mr. Brian Thomas. And also we'll be speaking, obviously, about this weekend's Bradby, and Mevan has some interesting insights into that as well. But before that, we have to come to something away from sports for a minute that is getting the attention across the country, and that, Mevan, is the issue of dengue becoming a problem all over again. And to a certain extent, it seems to be more of a problem than it was even last year. As of now, there's been 80 deaths reported, mainly in the Western Province, and over 14,500 people have been affected. So therefore, GMSL is trying to do our part by helping you be aware of how to be part of the solution, how to make sure that your house, your garden, your community is not contributing to the spread of dengue mosquitoes.
And also, Minister Maithripala Sirisena has called upon the Presidential Task Force as an emergency measure to try and solve this problem up.
Yeah, so they're bringing the big guns in because it is a problem, but the reality is you and I have a very important part to play in this, and GMSL will be leading the way from our end, trying to make sure that you have all the information you need as to how you can help make your community, your house, a safe environment, and that you will be a part of the solution, like I said before. At the same time, we want to look a little bit into the headlines of news during the weekend. Interesting development from the Parliament. I've never read this before. Shackles for rowdy MPs. Some of you back home might say it's about time. Well, it is. That's according to the headlines of The Nation. Talks about to create some sort of order in Parliament. There's been new law saying if you continue to misbehave, you will be put in shackles. Interesting. Never thought that would happen. But also we've got a dual vote. 200,000 struck off was another thing that hit the news in the weekend. It's mainly because of many people were double registered for elections, and that has been taken off. Another thing that got a lot of attention was a bid to reduce housemaid immigration, with many injustices happening to housemates who go to the Middle East. There have been measures to try and reduce the amount that leave the country just to for their own protection as well.
And on the sports page, we have Golden Arm Boy Tisera does the hat-trick for Sri Lanka, and that was about the one-day international match happening on Saturday. And then we have another interesting development. Malinga will sign contract if past dues are paid. And it goes on to say that central contracts of 20 national cricketers continue to remain unsigned because there are some dues to be paid by the SLC. And also Mahela Jayawardena, the captain, is just commenting on the upcoming 2020 World Cup, and he says it's all about momentum at a press conference held at Pallekele Stadium.
So speaking of the sports aspect, we have Mr. Brian Thomas online to talk a little bit more about the match, very especially a phenomenal match for all the Sri Lankan supporters out there. Tisera Perera, did you even see that coming, Mevan? That was just unbelievable.
I know, he's been the man of the match consecutively for 2 matches, and as we talked about on the show last week, he's proving to be a very good prospect for Sri Lankan cricket in the future. Yeah. And that was just brilliant. And
to see a guy that big, that strong, be such a good fielder as well, that was unbelievable. After a hat-trick, to follow up with that run-out was phenomenal. So to talk more about it, we're saying good morning, a very good morning to Mr. Brian Thomas. Mr. Thomas, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Well, we're very proud to be on the show this morning, Prashant.
Well, we're good to have you, and we're looking forward to your insight. Now, let's quickly, because we don't like to stop talking about how great the other match was. If you want to put it in a nutshell, what do you think made such a phenomenal collapse happen for the Pakistani team? Misbah-ul-Haq was quoted saying, "I didn't know what happened."
Yeah, basically the Pakistanis have never been very good chasers, Prashant. I mean, the little I know about them over the years, I mean, whenever they had to chase, they've somehow got it wrong. And I think in the back of their head, like what Ramiz Raja and Wakar Yunus were very correctly saying, is that their batting is very brittle. And when Lasith Malinga set it up, because remember that Malinga had 7 overs to bowl in the depth, I think psychologically they would have thought, look, it's nothing like Misbah-ul Haq and Azad Ali, stay among the wickets, score the balance 78 runs. The moment Misbah was caught brilliantly by Kulasekar, I mean, then the floodgates open, isn't it? I reckon it's just their mindset. They just couldn't get back to ball. They were playing away from the body, and it's Lasith Malinga who set it all up, and Tisra Perera very rightly, I think, sort of took advantage, and they got it spot on, and they were just gone. I mean, it's amazing. I'm surprised. I'm just like you are.
Yeah. Speaking of today, all-important game. Now, Sri Lanka hasn't had the best record of winning series. In the past, we've done really well, but when it comes to the end of wrapping things up, we've not really done well. Do you think we have what it takes this time?
I think Sri Lanka is playing very good cricket. To be very, very optimistic about the entire scenario. Look, the batting is gelling very well. I was speaking to Ranjit Fernando, who will be on our show coming up this Wednesday, and Ranjit was saying his only concern was with the opening slot. He just felt that Upul Taranga is slightly out of form, but he very quickly added that Taranga could get himself into it immediately. And the way the Sri Lankans have arranged the batting lineup right now, with Mahela batting at number 5, they look very awesome. I reckon the only worry is the spin attack. What will they do? Will they continue with young Veer Singh, or will they have a different mindset when it comes to the spin attack? Is something very, very interesting to see. I mean, young Veer Singh has just bowled only played in one game, so obviously he is getting used to the international arena. Interesting game, but I think Sri Lanka, to be honest, have the edge.
Well, we're looking forward to it, and we'll be following it, and obviously on Wednesday there's a special show where you yourself will be talking to Mr. Ranjit Fernando for some deeper insight and maybe, hopefully, celebration. Mr. Thomas, I want to thank you for joining us on the show this morning.
Rashan, it's a pleasure being with you. We look forward to seeing all of you again on Wednesday. And incidentally, just before I wind up, about the Bradby Shield, it was a great game. In fact, Trinity beat Royal by 34 points to 11. I'll leave you with that.
Yes, it was a great game. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Well, so, Melan, do you think we can actually wrap the series up this time?
Let's hope so. I mean, I don't want to jinx it, because true enough, we came to the World Cup finals and we came to the 2020 finals, and we have a tendency to just, losing focus at the very last minute, but hopefully we won't do it today.
Yeah, and it's Taranga's 150th game, so we wish him all the very best. This man has been consistent. He's been a silent contributor to Sri Lankan cricket. Especially, he's been an amazing partner to, at one point, to Sanjay Jayasuriya as an opening batsman, then to Tilakaratne Dilshan, and now hopefully he can come back to form on his 150th game.
Exactly, especially during the time of the World Cup, he was a phenomenal batsman. But he's lost touch a bit, but hopefully he can come back today and make a good performance.
Well, before we go back to the commercial break, since Mr. Thomas brought it up as well, with the whole Bradby Shield, now you were there. You saw the game. Tell me what it was like. I'm sure the atmosphere was electrifying, because we had loads of people from Kandy coming all the way down, and then obviously Royal in their home ground had their fortress. The atmosphere was electrifying, but how did it go?
Yeah, it was a great day for rugby, all in all, because we saw some big matches. The Bradby, of course, was the highlight, and of course Isipatan versus Peters was also a good match to look forward to, and we'll be bringing all the information right after the break, courtesy of the Papare.com. But the Bradby, it ended with a win for Trinity, and as we discussed, that ends Royals' 19-match unbeaten streak in the league, and they lose their first league match in 20 matches altogether.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal run for them, but this to lose this badly after such a long streak is kind of a wake-up call, and maybe kind of the encouragement they need for another 21 streak, so you never know how it works out. But I hate to bring this up, but I have to, since the other game I was at, because I missed the Bradby, was I was supporting Wesley College against St. Thomas's. It was a very important game. Yes, it was a Division B game, but that was going to decide who went to Division A. Giving a report on that, I think Wesley won 17-11. It was a close game, actually. 17-10, I'm corrected right now, 17-10. It was a close game, but towards the end, I think the team that made the lesser mistakes managed to win.
Yeah, definitely. St. Thomas College, it is the first year ever that they've been in the B division. They've been a consistent side, and I think they're going through a rough patch in terms of rugby. And, you know, we hope that they'll come back into the A division, but unfortunately that's not the case. Wesley is back in the A division, so, you know, all the best to them, because...
Well, as a Wesleyite, we're pretty happy, and it was pretty amazing, the atmosphere over there, is because many people were disappointed that Wesley was not in A division and had fallen back, and real strong desire to get back. And it's interesting that a generation will go forward wanting to win so that their next batch, some of them won't even play next year, but can be back in A division. It meant a lot to many of them.
It's all about pride, Prashant. You know, being in the A division, that's where you want to be. You don't want to go back there, because Wesley has been in and out of the A division, and I think they're playing some good rugby, and I think they deserve to be back in the A division.
Well, we were talking about showing some of the images of the Brad B and some comments on that. We're going to go to that right now before the commercial break. Would you like to lead us through, starting with
Yes,
Brad B?
mostly. Starting with the Brad B, the final scoreline read 34-11, and for Trinity College we had Tarinder Ratwata straight away with a drop goal in the early minutes, and then we had Darshana Udlagama, Tarinder Ratwata again with a try, and also Udlagama scored again in the second half to give them a vital lead. That is the pictures of the Isipatana versus St. Peter's match, where Isipata managed to record a victory. And we have the match against Kingswood and DS College, which ended with a scoreline of 52-14. That is the match between Science College and St. Joseph's College, which ended with a scoreline of 34-31. And Science College, a very promising team. They are new entrants to the A division last year, and they are looking to keep their position. That is pictures of the match between Kingswood College and DS Senanayaka College. 52-14 was the final scoreline. And also we had one more match in the schools division, Vidyartha versus St. Anthony's, which finished 32-13 with a win for Vidyartha. That's pictures from the Havelocks SC versus Army SC match, which ended in a win for Havelocks with a scoreline of 25-22. And then again, Kandy Sports Club won against CH and FC with a scoreline of 18-14. CH with the last minute try, but they were just not good enough for Kandy, obviously the defending champions.
That's an interesting snapshot of all the rugby action. And I also was pretty impressed by the fact of one team that consistently, or two teams that are making a name for themselves in the schools, is Science College and also Vidyartha. Vidyartha has been performing as if they were a club team. You know, it's been pretty phenomenal work with them.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there are also newcomers this year, and they are performing quite well. And I think they'll be looking forward to keeping their spot in the A division as well.
So it's interesting developments happening all over the place. We've got a few more minutes before we walk into our commercial break. But looking at the week ahead, what are some of the stuff that we could be looking forward to?
We have a few matches lined up, and also on the 30th we go for the second leg of the Brad B back in Kandy, and that will be the final decider for the Shield. And you never know what will happen, because even last year Royal College won the first leg, but Trinity came back strong.